Basketball is literally a game. Like, I promise you, it's literally a game. We have so much fun with it. But when it comes to death threats, when it comes to people finding, like, I'm talking about people have come down to my address, follow me home. Like, it's come down to that. Multiple occasions, people have made AI pictures of me, like, naked. Literally.
Really?
They have sent it to my family members. My family members are like, uncles are sending it to me like,
no.
Are you naked on Instagram?
Angel Reese just dropped a bombshell on her new podcast. She's saying Caitlin Clark fans are crossing the line big time. We're talking death threats, fake nude pics, and even people following her home. Is this rivalry getting way out of hand? Here's the thing. Reese made some shocking claims about Clark's fans. We're not giving away all the details yet, but trust me, it's wild. This isn't just about basketball anymore. It's about respect, safety, and the future of women's sports. The stakes are higher than ever. What's going down between Reese and Clark could change the game forever. Are you ready to hear what's really happening behind the scenes of this intense rivalry? Before we move on, I'd like to ask you a small favor. If you appreciate this content, please take a second to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Over 98% of you watch the videos without subscribing. It costs you nothing, but it makes a huge difference to us. So did you click the subscribe button? Great. Thank you so much. Now, back to the video. You thought you knew the whole story? Think again. Angel Reese just blew the lid off this rivalry, and what she's revealing goes way beyond trash talk. Ever wonder how far some fans will go to tear down an athlete they don't like?
Whenever you think of Angel Reese, people often mention Caitlin Clark. You've said in interviews, there's no beef, but the media keeps going on. This is your platform, so how do you feel about that situation?
Caitlin is an amazing player, and I've always thought she was an amazing player. We've been playing each other since high school. Like, literally been playing each other since high school, and like knowing that like there's never been beef. At the end of the day, it's a game that we do both love, but there is no hate. No hate. We're gonna play on the same team one day, I'm sure. Like, we're gonna definitely play on the same team one day. So
maybe 2028.
2028.
Reese's accusations are about to show you a side of sports fandom you never wanted to see. Let's break it down. We're not talking about a few nasty comments or some boos from the crowd. Reese is claiming she's facing death threats. Yeah, you heard that right, death threats. But it doesn't stop there. She says people are creating fake nude pictures of her using AI. That's a whole new level of messed up. And get this, Reese says some of these so-called fans are actually following her home. Can you imagine trying to focus on your game when you're constantly looking over your shoulder? It's not just creepy, it's downright dangerous. Reese didn't hold back when she talked about how this is affecting her. She straight up said, "It sucks to see that, and it's really hard that I have to go through that." You can hear the pain in her voice. This isn't just about basketball anymore. It's about basic human decency and respect. But here's where it gets even more complicated. Reese isn't blaming Caitlin Clark for any of this. In fact, she made it clear that she doesn't think Clark stands for this kind of behavior. Reese pointed out, "I think there is a lot of racism when it comes to it, and I don't believe she stands for any of that." She's drawing a line between the player and some of her more extreme fans. Think about what this does to an athlete's mindset. How do you stay focused on your game when you're dealing with threats and harassment off the court? It's not just about physical safety. This kind of stress can seriously mess with your mental game too. And let's be real, this isn't just a Reese and Clark problem. It's shining a light on the dark side of sports fandom. When did supporting your favorite player turn into tearing down their rivals? And why does it seem like female athletes get hit with this kind of harassment more often? All this fan drama is wild. But let's zoom in on Reese and Clark themselves. You think you know how they feel about each other? Think again. What's happening on the court is only half the story. There's a side to this rivalry that nobody's talking about, until now. When you see Reese and Clark battling it out on the court, you might assume they're sworn enemies, but the truth is way more complicated.
Like, we've talked trash to each other in AAU, like that. It's been that. So I think it's really just the fans, her fans. When you come, when it's behind your name, that's when a lot of people are like, oh, they think, oh, I don't like her because her fans are saying this. No, I don't believe in her heart that she has hatred towards me. Knowing my 5 fingers and my other finger pointing at my hand could literally have changed my life for like forever. It's crazy.
Sure, things get heated in the game, but off the court, it's a whole different story. Let's talk about what goes down during those intense matchups. Remember when Reese's teammate, Chennedy Carter, shoved Clark during a game? Reese was cheering it on. And then there was that time Reese got hit with a flagrant foul against Clark. She didn't hold back, saying, "I guess some people got a special whistle." Ouch. But here's the twist. When Reese talks about Clark off the court, it's like she's talking about a different person. She's actually got mad respect for her rival. Reese straight up said, "Caitlin is an amazing player, and I've always thought she's incredible." Wait, what? The same player she's going hard against on the court, and it gets even more interesting. Reese is drawing a clear line between Clark and some of her more extreme fans. She's not blaming Clark for any of the crazy stuff that's been happening. In fact, Reese made it crystal clear. I don't believe she stands for any of that. That's some serious respect right there. Now, what about Clark? You'd think she'd be all fired up about this rivalry, right? Wrong. Clark's been playing it cool. She straight up told reporters, "I'm pretty sure that the only people who view this as a rivalry is all of you. For us, it's just a game of basketball." Talk about keeping things in perspective. But don't think for a second that Clark doesn't see the bigger picture. She knows this rivalry, whether she likes it or not, is huge for women's basketball. Clark put it this way: if it's going to help move the game forward, then absolutely, she's a rival. That's amazing. That's what it should be. She's looking at the long game here, folks. So what's really going on between Reese and Clark? It's not as simple as love or hate. It's a complex mix of fierce competition on the court and genuine respect off it. These two are pushing each other to be better, and in the process, they're taking women's basketball to new heights. Just when you thought you had this rivalry figured out, Reese drops a bombshell that changes everything. Are we witnessing a turning point in women's sports? The fallout from her latest comments could rewrite the playbook on how we talk about race and respect in basketball. Reese's accusations of racism aren't just about her and Clark anymore. They're shining a spotlight on a much bigger issue in sports. This isn't just about what happens on the court. It's about how fans treat players off it, especially when it comes to race. Some people are wondering if Reese is playing the victim card. They're saying, "Oh, hold up, not all fans are like that." It's true, we can't paint everyone with the same brush. But here's the thing, even if it's just a few bad apples, it's still a problem we need to talk about. You might be thinking, how does this affect women's basketball as a whole? Well, it's complicated. On one hand, all this drama is getting people talking about the sport. More eyes on the game could mean more fans, more sponsors, more everything. But on the flip side, if things get too ugly, it could turn people off. Let's not forget what made Reese and Clark famous in the first place: their skills on the court. Reese is a rebounding machine, snagging balls left and right like they're magnetized to her hands. And Clark, she's got a shooting touch that makes defenders lose sleep at night. Here's where it gets really interesting. This rivalry, as messy as it's getting, is actually pushing women's basketball into the spotlight like never before. People who never gave the sport a second thought are suddenly tuning in. It's like Reese and Clark are two sides of the same coin, different styles, different personalities, but both driving the game forward. But with great power comes great responsibility. The way Reese and Clark handle this situation could set the tone for future rivalries in women's sports. Will they rise above the drama and show the world what true sportsmanship looks like? Or will things spiral out of control? One thing's for sure, this isn't just about basketball anymore. It's about respect, it's about race, and it's about the future of women's sports. Reese and Clark aren't just playing for themselves or their teams. They're playing for every girl who's ever dreamed of making it big in sports. So where do we go from here? This Reese-Clark saga isn't just about two players anymore. It's shaking up the whole WNBA. You gotta wonder, how's this gonna affect their careers? Will fans pick sides, or will they come together? Here's the thing, Reese and Clark are both crazy talented. We're talking game-changing skills that could take women's basketball to new heights. But all this drama, it could overshadow everything they've worked for. At the end of the day, it's on us fans to do better. We can cheer for our favorites without tearing others down. Reese said it herself. It sucks to see that. It is really hard that I have to go through that. No player deserves that kind of treatment. Sports have the power to bring us together or tear us apart. Which side are you on?